there.
How are you?
I am lovely. I am shockingly delightful.
You know what? I am shockingly delightful too. Speaking of which, hello everybody and welcome to Shockingly Delightful, a brand new show with the always beautiful Michelle Barone and myself, Chris Barone. And each week we'll be having shockingly delightful conversations on the humor, challenges, joys of life, and ultimately we're just trying to bring some humanity back to a world that seems plagued with illusions, overrun by illusions, challenged by illusions, whatever word you want to go with on that.
I think that's a good way of explaining it
Yeah.
is illusions and who creates those illusions?
Dun, dun, dun.
We do. We do. We do.
We sure do. Well, before we get into all of that, why don't we
Yes.
do some quick introductions? Michelle, why don't you go first?
Sure. The always delightful and beautiful Krista. I just like saying delightful and shockingly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm Michelle, Michelle Barone, Moksha Grace Coaching. And what do? I help people dive into their emotions and acknowledge the way that they're feeling so that their emotions don't cause havoc within themselves and start to manage them. Uh, you know, and you know this, when I worked in corporate, they always focus on emotional intelligence, EI. We have to know about emotional intelligence about, the people we work with. And if we're going to be good leaders, it's always about, and they never taught anybody about emotional intelligence for ourselves and how we're showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And they also never taught emotional intelligence in school so that our children would learn about their own emotions. And so that is my mission, is to help people understand that they have a hell of a lot more control than they think they do.
And she's really good at it.
Why, thank
And
you.
I,
What do you
I
what do you do?
Yeah, so I am Chris Barone with Wicked Wisdom Consulting. I am a fractional COO, and basically what I do is help business owners get back to doing what they love and living their purpose by taking all of the technical and operational tasks, projects, etc. of the business off their hands.
And she's really good at it. Hence why our graphics always look spectacular and everything is always aligned and perfect, and posts go
Yeah,
out automatically, and my new newsletter is amazing. So it's the wizard, it's the Wizard of Oz.
the wizard behind the curtain.
The
Yeah, that's
wizard
me.
behind the curtain.
So what are we talking about today, Michelle?
Well, we talked a little bit about illusion when we first got started.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important because does illusion create reality, or do we create reality because of trauma and turmoil?
Well, that's a really good question. I love a phrase that is sort of a running joke, but I think it's hilarious. It's like the Delulu is the Salulu, and basically what that means is your delusions are the solution. Because whatever you truly believe, and if you're delusional, you believe something that's not real. But if you're truly delusional about something, it will come to pass. So there's something to be said that the illusion does create reality on
Hmm.
some level. Um,
Well, and
but it can also hide reality and mask reality.
if we go to the law of attraction side of things,
Hmm.
what we believe, what we put out there, what we speak is going to come true.
Right.
And the universe, your choice of the divine, doesn't know the difference. So the things that you say, the energy you put out there is going to come back, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, that's super true. Your delusions will create reality. your
Right.
illusions and delusions.
True. And, I was just thinking too, a lot of what holds us back from manifesting what it is that we desire is a lot of times a inherent, deep-seated belief that we're not good enough to receive whatever it is that
Mhm.
we want, which really is the ultimate delusion or illusion, because ultimately we're all inherently worthy of all the things that we want, regardless of what
Mhm.
our brain thinks. But that is the ultimate delulu,
I like
preventing us from getting the things that we want.
and it's interesting, and I was just having a bit of this conversation because we were talking about with a I was having a networking meeting, and we were talking about, when we do the protection, right, we put up protection around ourselves.
Hmm.
And it was very interesting because I had as much of an aha moment as I think the other person did with, if we're putting up a barrier or a protection around ourselves out of fear
Hmm.
to block out the dark, let's say, and we're doing it out of fear, what are we doing to ourselves?
Hmm.
Right? We're encasing ourselves in a little ball of fear.
Hmm.
What the heck? And so I all of a sudden went, wait a minute. I don't want to do that. I want to encase myself in love, and the fear can just repel right off of it and bounce back to wherever it came from.
Yeah.
But I want to encase myself in love.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I was once having a conversation with my sister-in-law, and she had asked me, how often do you ask for protection? And I was like, I mean, that's usually, part of like whenever I put like my crystal pendant on or something like that, I'll say like a little something. And pretty often it includes something about protection.
Hmm.
And what she was getting at is, when we just ask for blanket protection,
Hmm.
is that not being specific enough about the protection we're asking for, and therefore we're going to be protected even from good things that may make us uncomfortable? Or, like, for example, if we're constantly asking for protection but we're trying to attract love into our life, no relationship with anybody is going to be perfect. So there's going to be arguments or whatever it is. By us so adamantly asking for protection, are we then also shutting something like a relationship out? Because the ultimate protection would be to kind of stay in like a little bit of a bubble.
Right.
Same thing with like a job. Maybe there's someone at a new job that you would love to have who would be a pain in the side. If
Hmm.
we're adamantly asking for protection, just
Right.
blanketly, would that keep something like that away even?
And if you're asking for protection from, let's say, the dark or negativity,
Hmm.
yet our clients are coming to us from a dark space and from a negative space because their business sucks, let's say, for you, for instance,
Right.
nothing's working, they're frustrated, they're overwhelmed. Well, that's a lot of negative energy. So
Hmm.
if you're blocking yourself from negative energy, are you actually blocking yourself from clients?
Hmm.
And same goes for me. If I'm saying, like, oh, I want to be protected from the dark, but yet all things come from the dark. Number
Yeah.
one, stop being afraid of the dark, people. And things grow in the dark.
Hmm.
And our clients, the people that need help the most, whether they're clients or not, the connections,
Hmm.
they're going to come to us, and they can very much, especially in the last week, there's been a lot of dark conversations, but we've ended where the person on the other side has been more in the light.
Funny that that follows a solar eclipse. That brings us into the dark, and then
Ah,
the light shines out on the other side.
padan ching. And there's a lot to be said about what's happening, out in the stars and the galaxy and the universe and
Hmm.
astrologically and all of that, because it does all play
Hmm.
within all of this. There's pushes and pulls. Like, we are the the moon, so to speak, and the tides are going to pull us in and pull us out in the water, and it's going to rise. We're all ebb and flow
Mm-hmm.
as you listen from your dark room. Yes. Turn the light on, Raymond. um, but it was such a moment of epiphany. I
Mm-hmm.
think for as Karen says, or shutting clients out. It was just such a big moment of going, wait a minute, I don't want to repel the dark.
Yeah.
Those are the people that need us the most.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look at my even my affirmations and some of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I put out there.
Yeah.
Um, because listen, like we said, we don't know it all. We've
Right.
gone through a lot, we've done a lot of work, but we still have aha moments and we still have epiphanies. That's why we're
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely. Well, and I have a I'm wearing my citrine and peridot uh, pendant right now, and the affirmation that I say with that talks about something like I welcome it. I have it all written down on my little note cards, but it says something like I welcome in all the abundance that I call in, something like that. And
Hmm.
as I was reading this morning, I was thinking to myself also of, but what about the abundance I'm not calling in? What about just the natural abundance that I deserve? So I'm going to be rewriting that affirmation too. And that's the thing is affirmations are so tricky because I'll look up, I'm a big affirmation person. They're, even if you just listen to them while you're doing other stuff, they're so helpful. But I listen to so many different ones and I'll just be listening. I'll be like, well, that's not really the best way to phrase that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's talking about you don't have it yet. Well, that's talking about past tense. Well, that's talking about in the process of. And it's so
Mhm.
the deeper you get into an affirmation practice, you realize like just how specific you have to be with what you're
Mhm.
saying. And I'll never forget the one that you did about calling in more property. It
I
kind
was
of
I was thinking that.
yeah. Well, why don't you tell the story?
So I got it in my head that we want more property. We love our property and we want more land. We want more property around us because we're a growing family. And we just want more property. And so I put out this affirmation that I want more property. And around the same time, my husband, that I love very, very much, all of a sudden got this obsession and affinity for antiques.
Hmm.
And to the point where you look around and it looks like a really cool antique store when you walk in our house. So I was talking to my mentor, going, "What the heck?" And he literally looked at me and he was like, "You asked for more property."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh shit. I
Yeah.
wasn't specific enough.
Hmm.
I didn't say I want more land attached to the land we already have. That even would have been a better, something that needs to be said because getting land, you can get land anywhere, right? We could
Yeah.
just get land.
Hmm.
But I want land attached to the land we already have so that we can expand.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, so I had to look at that and just chuckle because boy, did we increase our property.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a perfect example of sometimes the things that we ask for come to us in different ways that we would expect, whether because we worded it a weird way
Mhm.
or it's that story. I love it so much. I say it all the time to whoever I'm talking to, and it's relevant. But that concept of like if you ask if you ask the universe for a cake, and on your doorstep shows up a bag of flour, eggs, cocoa powder, sticks of butter, sugar, you got your cake, you just got to put it together. Or you ask for something sweet and, but just different variations of that
Yeah.
story you can run with. But I mean, that's exactly how it works. You have to be so careful and specific. If you want something specific, you have to be specific of how you ask for it.
Well, like when I asked for, yes, come to the Barone compound. We have goats. Uh, and yes, I absolutely agree with you, Karen. I am allowing clarity. I welcome the clarity to
I have,
continue. I
I have
have,
clarity.
I
I
have
am clear.
I am
I
so
am
excited.
healed. Well, it's a good one. I'm always healing, or I am healing. That's
Yeah.
kind of eternal. But
Yeah.
the other thing too that just made me think of that is there was once a great Abraham Hicks segment that I listened to, where she asked the woman, what do you want? She was
Hmm.
like, well, I want more money, I want a better job, I want a promotion, I want this, I want that. And she went, okay, well, what about health? Oh, well, I already have health. So, okay, what about a partner? Well, I already have a partner. Okay, well, don't you want those things to continue? Do you
Right.
not still want those things? So you always want health. You always
Mhm.
want love. You always want happiness. Just because you have it in the moment doesn't mean you shouldn't also affirm those things that you
Right.
already have.
Absolutely. I want continued. I welcome in continued
Hmm.
blank, 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 blank.
Yeah.
Uh, I was going to tell the story about how I really, really wanted to work from home. And in the corporate world where I worked, we had therapy dogs. It was a hospital. And we had therapy dogs, and they, they're very specific. When you have therapy dogs that work and they're owned by a hospital, an organization, they they have rules, and they have to take time outs, and they have downtime and breaks, and they luckily one of them would take a break in my office, and I loved it, and I was like, I just want my own dog to be laying underneath my desk, and I want to spend more time at home working from home. And that was around the time that I got a boss that uh, was the beginning to the end of my corporate 10-year career. And I absolutely got what I want, because I have uh, yesterday afternoon, I had both golden retrievers underneath my desk,
Yep.
and the cat outside, and the goats behind me. And I got exactly what I asked for. And we can ask, you cannot judge how it's delivered. And I think that is the biggest thing that people forget, is that I put this out there and this is what I want, and they end up getting it, but then they don't like the delivery method. It's like, you can't really judge God for how he delivered.
Right.
Like, who do you think you are when
Mhm.
you are judging God or the divine, or again, whatever
Right.
you believe in, the universe?
And it's
And
a lot easier. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, please.
I was gonna say it's a lot easier to do this when you look at, like, to really fully understand what that means. It's a lot easier to do that with things from the past that maybe don't have as much weight. So maybe that job that you thought you wanted, but then you heard a few months later that the person who got it ended up having like a mental breakdown or something because there was so much stress associated with the job, or there was a major um, layoff period where all these people lost their job and you would have been one of them, but instead you got this other job, or a relationship that you really, really wanted, but then looking back, you're like, why was I even interested in that person? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the dog that you thought you wanted, but someone else adopted him or her sooner, so you ended up with a different dog, and that dog like absolutely just has your whole heart.
Yeah.
Looking back, it can be really easy to see those things, and of course, there's going to be the things that you still don't necessarily understand why, but it'll reveal itself at some point.
And that is exactly why, when you're in a situation and you're like, my life sucks,
Mhm.
you're in the middle of it.
Yeah,
You can't see
yeah,
into the future. You can't, most of the time, in those points of your life, you can't even remember what you're really asking for. All you can think about is your pity party, and how miserable you are, and how upset and how sad or angry or frustrated. And so, you know, the universe, the divine, I was just reading this the other day, it has this view
yeah,
that's like from an eagle's eye view,
right,
and can see and knows what's coming.
right,
So it's more of, this isn't good or bad. it's the way that it is at the moment, and I have to trust and have faith that what I want is on its way. It's
Right.
already on its way. It's there,
Yeah.
but I
And
have to walk the path to it.
right. And slash, what can I do in the meantime to not obsess over it? Because also when you're focusing on not having it, it gets farther away. So what can you focus on in the meantime to essentially distract yourself, get yourself off the topic, so that way you're not focused on the not having it. Because
Right.
something I mean, I look up all the time, like, what do I do to get rid of doubt? How do I fully believe that I already have this thing? Because it is very hard when you don't have something, it's not in your physical presence. And
Mm-hmm.
it's literally as easy as you're not going to, you're not necessarily going to convince yourself that you have something that's not there. So the easiest route to take is literally focus on something else.
Yeah.
Because then you're at least you're not putting uh uh um you're not pushing it away with your
Right.
energy. You're just not putting any energy into it, which allows it or something better to come in.
Well, and the best way to do that I know of is gratitude. What do you have? So if there's something that you want and you don't want to push it away, then you concentrate on what you have in front of you, and you just look at the little things, the big things, it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the queen of distraction, so if anyone needs any help with getting distracted, just give me a call, I'll give you ideas. Go outside and look at the clouds and see if you can find a bunny in the clouds or an alligator. Go outside and see if you can find a lizard. Challenge. My favorite is when you just say to the universe, and I do this all the time, like, just surprise and delight me.
Mm-hmm.
Just surprise and delight me today. I don't even care. Surprise and delight me, and I'll know if I see something blue,
Oh, I
right?
love doing that. If I see this number sequence, it'll mean this, and then you see it and you go, well, that's my answer. It's always fun to have. It's fun to have fun with the universe.
What it is, and it's playing a game, and you're interacting with the universe, and also you're interacting with your own manifesting,
Right.
because now you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
You're not focused on the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the key. If you say, I'm going to see, like Abraham always talks about bluegrass, glass, I'm going to see blue glass, I'm going to see blue glass, and so you walk around with your head down. The blue glass might be up here,
Mm-hmm.
but you're so focused on where you think you're going to find it,
Yeah.
instead of just releasing the outcome and just going through your day, just looking at everything and observing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I remember one day I found a blue bead in the bathroom. I have no idea where the blue bead came from.
I remember that.
I don't,
You
I
know, we
have
find
it.
a lot of blue stuff on this property. Someone
Yeah.
else said we find blue tiles all the time. We
Hence,
found a
blue,
blue
blue,
something.
blue is masculine. And what happens with our clutches of eggs?
Is it?
Well, yeah, when you have a baby shower, you always have blue.
I mean, but that's the societal parameter, because if you think about
Well,
it, most of the
okay.
things that are blue are pretty feminine in nature. You've got the ocean that's very fluid and
Yes.
flowing. You've got the sky, which I don't really know how to categorize that.
You
I
really make some
don't
good
necessarily
points.
put blue into a masculine category,
Okay, that's true.
to
But
be
we do
fair.
have a lot of blue, and it
Yes, we do.
happens to be my favorite color.
Right. Well, and oh, now I see where you're going with the rooster or the chickens, where we tend to have, for whatever reason, we just, if we have a clutch of 10 eggs that hatch, 7 of them are going to be roosters
At least.
every single time, like clockwork. It always reminds me, I joke all the time about, it's like Jurassic Park, um, where they're talking about trying to get all the dinosaurs to be girls, and they're
Yeah.
saying it only takes the a genome sequence or something, or at
Mhm.
the right developmental stage. I'm like, is it because it's hot? Because we're always warm weather? Like what?
No, it's
No,
something with this property. It's a
that's true.
pulse. It's a pulse. It sends out a pulse.
Yeah,
There's something to it. I don't know what
true.
it is.
I did want to circle back to what you were saying about gratitude too, because um, for people who have a lot of anxiety, like me, turning to gratitude is really important. But when you have anxiety, it's really important to focus gratitude on the things that don't give you anxiety. So you don't want to try to focus and give gratitude when you have an anxiety response to it. So, like, if I sit here and I start giving gratitude for my family or work or whatever it is, that will cause me some anxiety. So, what I do
Mhm.
instead, what I have to do is focus on much less important things. I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful that the sun rose this morning. I'm so grateful that there's a beautiful orchid sitting outside my door. I'm so grateful that I get to overlook a pool that has beautiful, sun and all of that. I'm so grateful, that I have
Mhm.
a bird that screams all the time and he's not doing it right now because I figured out all I have to do is leave his door open and he feels like he's part of the family that way. I'm grateful for the beautiful, I think they're red sisters that are out there, a plant. I think they're called red sisters or penguin. I gotta brush up on my plants.
People are like, "What red sisters? You have
Yeah, what are you
sisters?"
talking about? No, 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 no. It's a plant. It's a plant. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And being grateful can be about anything that is around you. It can be about something you experienced. I think where people fall into a rut is it becomes a routine, right? Oh, write down your 10, 10, 10, and then you're like, okay, I'm grateful for my dog. I'm
Are you
grateful
ready for
for,
this? I turned it into a superstitious thing at one point where I would write the same thing every single day. And then it got to a point where I felt like, well, if I don't write this every single day, then I don't want the universe to think that I'm not still grateful for this thing and then feel like it should take it away from me. So also be careful of that. Again, if you have anxiety, anxious tendencies, be
Mhm.
mindful of where your mindfulness strategy turns into fueling that anxiety because that is not going to be something that progresses you. It's going to be something that makes your anxiety worse, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, very true. And it's also coming from a place of fear versus a place from love. So sometimes even just changing what I'm grateful for to what I love most about my life. Yes, I'm grateful I woke up. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that uh I have a really comfortable bed and I love my pillowcase. I'm grateful that I was able to walk today. I mean, it can be even the smallest things. And sometimes a lot of times, especially for those that may call themselves ADHD, you have to change it up.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with a prompt.
Hmm.
What things are you grateful for, or what do you love the most about
Hmm.
the internet
Yeah.
or my car
Hmm.
or my backyard or my business. And so now you're changing it up because the whole key to the gratitude exercise is to actually feel it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not feeling it, you're not doing it right. It's become mundane and now you have to jazz it up.
Right.
And the difference is I did it one day because I was like so bored. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired of writing these gratefuls. And I was like, okay, I'm grateful for my wedding day. And then I started writing out the why and I wrote down like a whole scene, the scene that I remember. I'm so grateful that I was at the end of the aisle or that I was at the aisle walking down and that I could see my husband. Thank God he showed up. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Yeah, I've seen your wedding video. There was zero doubt he was showing up, but okay. I think you were more the flight risk than he was, but anyway.
thank God that I'm so grateful for my friends that were there to help me because I had to go to the bathroom right before I walked down the aisle. And the bathroom was outside of where I was, where everyone could have seen me. And that wasn't going to work. So we had to get very creative.
Mhm.
But as I was writing this all out, I put myself back in that moment
Mhm.
like I
Yeah,
was there. Like
yeah.
I time traveled. And it
And
was the
that's a
most
whole
amazing
other,
thing.
yeah,
It
and
was
that's,
huge.
yeah, yeah. And putting yourself in the moment and feeling that energy is a whole other exercise of getting in the right energy to receive similar feeling things that you want.
Well, and isn't that the whole key? So if you can't feel ha- you know, uh, satisfied in your career right now,
Hmm.
where else do you feel satisfied?
Yeah.
Do you feel satisfied in your marriage? Do you feel satisfied in your friendships? Do you feel satisfied with your morning routine?
Well, even more specific than that. Let's say someone like me. I have a
Mhm.
very technical type of job.
No.
It's I know. What is a it's not even I mean, yes, that all is great, but also that's where can you also ignite that similar energy? So if I have a very technical job, where else can I show that? Well, ignite. I
Mhm.
can, make my meal prepping list and make it, into a spreadsheet like I have and all of that, which gets me even more in the energy of the
Mhm.
work that I do. So you could even take it a step further than just where else can I be successful, and even to turn it into where else can I be successful in this exact type of energy that I'm looking for. So if you're looking for a relationship, where else can I be very loving? So not just, you may not be feeling very loving at work. So where else can you show that? Is it you need to spend more time with your pets? Is it that you want
Mhm.
to go volunteer somewhere? Is it that you want to donate your time or donate money or whatever it is to stimulate that same type of energy even?
Right. And that's so important because especially for people that might be listening that absolutely cannot stand their job right now, and there are a lot of people that are just unhappy. They're
Yep.
unhappy at work or they're unhappy in their relationship. Where can you find that happiness so that if you can't change careers right this minute,
Hmm.
then what can you do to fulfill that emotion that's
Hmm.
going to give you that emotion until you can make that leap, until you can make that jump?
Right.
And people forget about that. Like, I want to be in service, I want to do more. Okay, what's happening at work? My boss doesn't respect me. I'm not able to do what I want. I'm stuck in this one position. Okay, go find something to volunteer or make yourself useful in
Yeah.
all of these other places. And then your energy is going to shift at work. And then all of a sudden, your boss notices
Yeah.
that you're engaging more, that
Mhm.
you're showing up with ideas.
Or if that job's a lost cause, you happen to meet somebody who has a position that's absolutely perfect for you, or knows someone who's looking for someone just like you.
Absolutely.
I do have to comment on this comment because
I
it's
know you do.
hilarious. Um, Raymond, not only are my spreadsheets color coded, but I have certain custom um, I have a bunch of stuff built out in it, so that way when I select certain things, other things get color coded a certain way or ordered a certain way. I have meals planned out like a month in advance. I'll make changes, but it's kind of ridiculous. I have it color coded for the type of meal and what type of protein we'll be eating at that time, so that way I can organize it in a really, because no, you don't really want to have like red meat every single day, so you want to break it up and have like different types of. Yeah, so anyway,
My
yeah,
favorite,
it
my
sure is.
favorite thing that you've added with organization is not only what the menu is for the week, but what leftovers are in the
Yeah,
refrigerator, so we can remember to actually eat them.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that, Karen.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's cool though. Yeah, but see, I would feel compelled to stack them in chakra order too. Which I mean, if you've got like a red plate under six others, that could be pretty heavy and kind of annoying. But gosh, I'm sure that was beautiful though. We actually did just get a set of
Wine glasses.
bowls that are
Oh, that too.
in I mean, it's more than just the chakra colors, but I might have to start stacking them in chakra.
That's funny that you went to bowls, I went to wine.
That's not shocking.
The wine glasses are really cool because they are in chakra colors if you think about it.
They're missing a couple, but yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
shout out to Betty.
yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Betty. So yeah, that's super fun. You know what was fun? Was sitting at the pool the other day going, what do I want to do? And all of a sudden I was like, I have a brand new karaoke machine.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That
Bringing your
was
karaoke machine out to the pool with the microphones and our poor neighbors.
terrorizing our neighbors. Yeah.
That was super fun.
It was super fun, and I came outside and sang some karaoke too, but I turned it to dad rock, as people
Yeah.
call it. So
I dragged you away from your desk.
such a bad influence. But see, that's the beauty of working from home and manifesting that for both of us is
Right.
that we have the pleasure of being able to just go, you know what? I'm gonna take a 15-minute break and sing karaoke outside.
Or take a bike ride.
Or take a bike ride, walk the dogs, sit outside in the sun because it's freezing cold inside your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note, probably a good place to wrap up. We've been going for 35 minutes. I can't even believe that because time is going so
All
fast.
right.
I
All
know,
right.
I know. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Well, I can be found at mokshagrace.com, and on social media, you can find me under Moksha Grace just about everywhere. And yeah, you can book a call with me. I'm still running my March and April. I extended it because of my birthday because I can. I extended my free 90-minute coaching call, no strings attached. So if you want a taste of what a coaching call with me would be like, you bring the topic and I bring the coaching. And Krista, where do people find you?
Sorry, I was not expecting such a quick turnaround. Um, you can find me at wickedwisdomconsulting.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't really do Instagram for work, but if you're needing any sort of business operations help, you're looking for a fractional COO, just need to bounce some ideas off somebody, you can reach out to me. We'll have a conversation. I don't, I don't, what are they, pitch slap anybody. So it's really, it's more about me just helping people out because I know when you get into business, you don't necessarily get into business to run a business. You get into business to serve your clients. And so I help you with the rest.
I love that. And you do it so well and intuitively.
Oh, thank you so much. That is true. And I have a post about that coming out soon. So keep your eye out for it. Make sure to go follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn to see that post. There's going to be some good stuff coming up.
Yes, we both can be found in Florida. And
Yes. Did someone ask for that?
oh, yes, Karen. Sure. Yes, absolutely. I wasn't going to bring it up on the first call, but and here you are. So now you know. I
Hi,
have,
Karen. I suspect I might be talking to you soon. So I look forward to the conversation.
and it's going to be a really fun conversation.
Sweet. I look forward to it.
Karen is definitely our people.
Okay. I can tell by your comments, but I'm excited to meet you in
Yeah,
person.
and I'm just going to celebrate that I manifested wanting to see some people in person, and I found out the other day that I'm going to get to. So I'm going to celebrate that. And yeah, so with that, when are we going to be live again, Krista?
Really, really good question. We're going to be live here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we'll probably go about the same length, maybe 20 to 40 minutes on Wednesdays. And the same sort of thing, like you saw today, we started on one topic and kind of went into another. So there'll be, some general topics, but you're just going to let the conversation go where it goes. And yeah, and never feel bad for commenting. Comment away because we love having you guys be part of the conversation.
Yes.
Like you saw today, we may even just have like the chat on the side here in upcoming episodes. So
Mm-hmm.
follow along, join us, and we look forward to continuing to chat with you guys.
Also, ask questions, suggest topics,
Yeah.
share it out, and subscribe because you would then get notified when we go live. So absolutely, that is your call to action, is
Yeah.
to make sure that you get notified when we go live
Yeah.
because we're fun.
Yeah. And I think Karen just inspired our episode 2 topic. She's a Gemini. You are an Aries. I'm a Libra. So maybe we'll start out with a little astrology talk.
Ooh. And we can tell everyone how we're the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Not
said
only our
that with
sun.
such enthusiasm.
No, well, we are not only in our sun signs, but our north and south nodes. We have a lot of opposites. I'll have to pull up both of our charts and figure them out. I also have some really interesting signs who are whoever Amy, who just joined us,
Amy.
has the article that I sent her about one of my very interesting placements. So maybe we'll talk about that too, because that's always a fun one.
And shout out to Amy because we are going to be on her podcast that will be coming out. Well, it's not just hers, it's three amazing, wonderful, so much fun women. And the episode is airing May 9th. So I'm really, really, really excited. And it is the activity continues. And for those that are like, huh, what does that mean?
Perhaps we'll do an episode right before giving you the lowdown of what was happening, and then you can watch that episode for the after and what has happened since.
Okay, fine. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
But it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it fits right along with our topic. Okay, we've held you guys here. Well, not held you guys here. You guys have been here on your own volition. But we are going to wrap this up, and we will see you guys next week and the weeks following.
Bye. See you later. Thanks for being here.
You too. And everybody in the comments.
Well, I meant everybody in the comments.